Thank you all for joining us on our first 2022 Sycle Partner Webinar Series. I am Mico Picart, Sycle's Portfolio Manager for our strategic partnerships. And we decided to take on a bit of a different approach or format for you guys this time around. So we're going to go with some of the good, the bad, and the ugly with some of our integrated partners. And today we'll actually have the opportunity to discuss our experiences with Weave and one of their clinics, Audiology Services with Blaise. But before we move any further, I'd like to introduce special guests, Dexter and Blaise. Dexter?
Let me get off mute here. How you guys doing? Yeah, Dexter Vowles. I work for Weave Communications. I'm the partnership manager. So I manage our relationship with Sycle. Super excited about this integration and excited to talk to Blaise and Mico today.
Thank you, Dexter. Blaise?
Pleasure to meet everyone. My name is Blaise Delfino. I am a clinician and director of operations at Audiology Services. We are a small family-owned private practice located in Nazareth, Pennsylvania and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And I just want to thank Sycle and Weave for orchestrating this webinar, especially Dexter, Mico, and Lauren. They put a lot of work into this. So very humbled to share our experience with Weave and Sycle integration.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Blaise. We are definitely fortunate to have you guys both on here and looking forward to what your insights here throughout the call. Anyways, during the webinar for our attendees, if you guys have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to ask the questions in the Q&A box. There's a Q&A button in the center below. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to field them there, and we will try to answer them either as we go along or at the end of the session. And also we'll be recording the session, so any of you who, of course, want to go back into some of the things that we did discuss, that it will be recorded. As our industry continues to grow, patient communication along with patient engagement is at the core of really the patient journey. Many of our patients get lost in the shuffle or are just simply looking for just answers. At Sycle, we believe in creating really an efficient patient experience, just overall for your practice in means of operations. But at the same time, we also want to add value. And one of those values that we have, of course, is with Weave. And that's actually helping creating the patient journey for you guys. Last October, Sycle and Weave began a partnership and integration that has come a long way. Wouldn't you say, Dexter?
Yeah, definitely. We've come a long way.
And ultimately, we also brought on Blaise today to kind of talk to you guys about what happened with that integration thus far. So Blaise, we have quite an audience today, and of course they're wondering more so, can you tell us more about your practice? I know you're from Pennsylvania, you've got 2 offices, but can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Yes, absolutely. So you could say that I am genetically predisposed to the field of audiology. My father, Dr. Gregory Delfino, has been an audiologist for going on 40 years. My mother is a hearing instrument specialist. My wife is a hearing instrument specialist. And we have just an incredible team that puts the patient care at the forefront, just like every other clinic owner here, of what we do. It's always patient first. So being a small family-owned private practice, there are certain problems that we're always looking to solve. So some high-level deliverables are communication is everything that we do. It's at the forefront of everything that we do here at Audiology Services. And being a private practice, we're juggling a lot of different deliverables and action items that we need to do. So in today's day and age, how can we automate some of the processes in the private practice that are, number one, going to assist in overall patient care and positively influence the patient journey, but also allow us to do what we really love, and that's help patients. So with the Sycle and Weave integration, some of the problems that we had 1.5 to 2 years ago have definitely been mitigated because of the automation process. We used to have a landline and calls would just go right to voicemail. That doesn't happen anymore because of Weave and Sycle. So we understand too, as a private practice, and many of the private practices on here, we understand the problems that our industry faces, not only on the technology side, but the communication side. communication is at the forefront of what we do. And how are we communicating not only with patients, but also internal community or internal members of our team? So a little bit about us. We've been serving the Lehigh Valley for well over 20 years. We love what we do, of course, and it's just an incredible opportunity to help our patients and continue to help them on the journey to better hearing with companies like Sycle, like Weave, because again, as I stated previously, it really does help the patient experience and patient retention as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Blaise. Definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
If you don't mind me asking, how did you actually hear about Weave, or what made you inquire about them overall?
Great question. So I need to shout out Dr. Amit Gasalia and April Royan. They are two of the top thought leaders in the hearing healthcare industry, and they monitor the Odd Boss Private Practice Facebook page. And I love that page because we get to learn from different private practice owners. So I reached out to Dr. Gasalia, and as a friend, I said, hey, like, these are some of the challenges we are facing in terms of overall communications. I've looked into VoIP or VoIP phone systems. Are they really what they're all cracked up to be? What if my internet goes down? And Dr. Gasalia really walked me through the process and said, listen, Weave is going to be your best option, not only for your communication with internal team members, but most importantly, communicating with your patients. So we reached out to Weave. Jordan onboarded us, and it was a very smooth onboarding transition. But that's how we learned about Weave. It was through Dr. Amit Gasalia.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Definitely appreciate that. And I guess with that being said, kind of what's been important to you overall with the Weave relationship thus far?
So Weave, their onboarding process is incredibly smooth. Also, if we had any questions in terms of, how can we upload a new voicemail message, or how can we change our missed call auto text, your company provides us, the providers, the tools that we need to properly and in a timely fashion make these assistance or these changes. Since we've had Weave, we've only had one hardware challenge. And when our phone had to get replaced after 13 months, Weave you guys sent us out a phone right away. We had a backup, thank goodness, but your support team and your support staff is there for the private practice owner. And I can speak from experience because we experienced that 2 weeks ago. So it was definitely timely for sure.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, I'll steal all the spotlight, and I know you got a chance to kind of briefly highlight some things, but I'll let you and Dexter kind of walk through some of the processes that you've utilized on the Weave end, and we'll kind of go on that end and share your experiences.
All right. Thanks, Mico. Yeah, so we put together a few slides just to kind of highlight some of the Weave features, but I am going to put in the chat, there's a link. Actually, I'm going to have Andrew, who's our marketing guy, put a link in the chat to, if you want to learn more about Weave at any point during this program, you can click the link and schedule a demo. So this will be kind of a quick introduction, but if you want more, this is a teaser, I guess, right? And so if you want to know more, then feel free to reach out to us. Let me get my slide ready here. Here we go. So these are most of the features that Weave offers for their patients. You've got reviews, so we help you manage your Google reputation online through reviews, and we'll talk about that one a little bit. It's a phone system. It's your VoIP phone system. So whatever phones you have now, this Weave system would replace that, and we'll explain why that's important here in a minute. Missed call text. So imagine your office gets a call and you aren't able to answer it. Then Weave system will text that patient and let them know that you're on your way, that you're going to call them back, or however you want to set that up. Team chat, that's an internal communication back and forth between your front office and back office. Or if you have a manager that works from home, you can chat with them really easily through the Weave system. Scheduling, so we sync up with Sycle's scheduling program, and we can send out appointment reminders, and you can see the schedule right from the Weave app. Payments, we offer payments for your patients where you can text them to get payments. and analytics where you can see what time your call volume is the highest and things like that to determine staffing needs. Blaise, you want to add anything here?
No.
What's your favorite feature?
So my favorite feature, I have two. First would be the missed call texts. Now, of course, we shouldn't be missing any calls. But if we do, the patient is then said, hey, we're currently on the phone. We'll get back to you ASAP. And patients really do love that. But also the reviews, because we all know, being private practice owners, Google reviews are like the golden review that we can get. So having that at the forefront is really essential. So those are two of my favorite features. And of course, the third would be team chat, because we're always internally talking to make sure that the office is running smooth. And if one of our offsite team members has a question, hop on that team chat. So those are my top three.
Cool. Well, we just so happen to have a slide for each of those. So let's
talk
about them in just a little bit more detail. So missed call text, you talked about that. What's your custom message? So if a patient calls your office or a potential new customer, this is where I think it really adds value. Potential new customer calls in, they want a hearing test. You don't answer the phone. Chances are they're going to go to the next hearing aid store on the list, right? If you miss that opportunity, they're not going to wait around for you to call them back because they want to go get a hearing test. So what is your automated message for somebody who calls in?
So our automated message is, thank you for contacting Audiology Services. We are so sorry that we missed your call. While it is very important to us, we will respond in a timely manner. Now, the last line is intentional. We say, thank you for selecting Audiology Services as your preferred hearing healthcare provider. Now, if this is a new patient, we're sort of planting the seed of, oh, yes, Audiology Services is going to be my preferred hearing healthcare provider, sort of like a softer sell. And we like to make our missed call message kind of like friendly and inviting, instead of some of those maybe missed texts we've all experienced from larger corporations of, sorry, we're busy, give us a call back later. So you definitely want, it's an opportunity to then queue up a conversation and they can text back. What's really cool is we can text back as well. So I believe that the missed call text is, again, while I reported earlier that we don't want to be missing the calls, if our patient care coordinator is on the phone and they just can't get that call, this really does save us, because it's all about patient experience, and the missed call text absolutely positively influences that patient experience. So they're not going to go down the street. They're going to stick with you as their preferred hearing healthcare provider.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I love that. Like, this alone, in my opinion, helps you recover that. I mean, if this can help you recover one new hearing aid sale per month, it pays for itself, right?
Can I dovetail off that, Dexter? We had a patient who was working, not hearing healthcare related, but was having work done at their home, large organization, and was having a very bad experience with that organization.
Okay.
In that time, we had some follow-up appointments scheduled here at the office, and they called the office and they received the missed call text. And he showed the text to his wife and said, see, this is how a real business operates. Now, again, I've said we are a small family-owned private practice.
Right.
These little tools, when you integrate them into your patient communications, it makes you look larger than you really are, but that's not the intent, because you're obviously going to follow through with this first-class correspondence and communication. So I wanted to share that story as well, because that testimonial was like, that made us feel really good, and I shared that with the whole team. So
that is cool.
It's really important.
Okay. Yeah, thanks.
And it's definitely awesome, just because the next thing you know, what they're going to do is go into their Yelp or the next Google listing and then call the next person. So I think this is an awesome tool that you guys have and that we have and are able to utilize with us on our integration together.
Yeah, very cool. And one thing that I guess Weave does that a lot of competitors don't is, because it's a VoIP system, like you can go and buy a package where you can have a two-way text conversation with your patients, but it's a new phone number and it's a separate app, right? But the Weave is all integrated into your local listing, which is nice. And so they've got your listing saved already in their phone, And so you're going to text them from that, and it's going to pop up and say the name of your office, which I think makes a difference in terms of patient communication and just adds that extra level of care. Okay, let's go to the next one. Enhanced screen pop. So the idea behind this is when a patient calls into your office, can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, so this Natalie Adams, that'll pop up on the desktop to say this is the person that's calling. And so if your PCC has her phone over here, she can see it come up on her screen, and then she answers and says, "Hello, Natalie, how are you today?" And then she can have the Sycle schedule right next to it and say, "Hey, are you still coming in for your clean and check next Thursday?" And it's like, wow, it makes them feel like they're the only patient you have almost, right? And it makes them just feel really special to know that, like, you know them and you remember them. So if you can get a picture, even better, because then you kind of recognize them a little bit more. And you can also put notes into this system. I should have showed, but you can say things like, doesn't like it when you call him by his full name or something like that, or really, really hard of hearing on the phone, so talk loud or something like that, just to kind of give whoever's answering the phone a heads up. Do you have anything to add on this one, Blaise?
It's a great feature. I mean, of course, we want to focus on the benefits of the Weave Sycle integration and then all the amazing features to really enhance that customer and patient relation. But we have used this feature, and our patient care coordinator, when you are answering the phone by their first name, you hit the head of the nail there, Dexter, because again, patients today, it's all about experience. In 2017, there were reports that by 2020, consumers are going to make purchase decisions strictly on patient experience. But we need to follow those trends and implement those systems, processes, and procedures to ensure that our patients are having the best possible experience that they can. So just simply saying, "Hi, Natalie, thank you for calling Audiology Services. It's great to hear from you. How can I help?" You've made their day, because everyone's first name, that's like the most important word we know in our vocabulary.
Yeah, they love to hear that. Yeah.
Right? That's really important.
Sales 101. Yeah. People love the sound of their own name.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right. So here's just kind of what it would look like if you had the Sycle app or Sycle program open on your screen, and then next to it, you'd have Weave. That's kind of how it's designed to work side by side. So we made it kind of small so that it doesn't take up a lot of desktop space, and you can just and it works almost just like a smartphone, right? Like you've got the back button, the top right corner or top left, the Weave symbol. If you hit that, you go back to the home screen. Pretty basic, very user-friendly, wouldn't you say, Blaise?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing, is being user-friendly, because as private practice owners, we're very busy. So making these features user-friendly is going to enhance our clinic flow.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Talk to me about Team Chat. How do you use that?
This is one of our top 3 favorite features. So every morning, first thing that we all do as a team is we log into Team Chat. Now, number one, it's HIPAA compliant. So of course you can say, Dexter needs a clean and check next month. So that's number one. But we do have some team members that do work remote. So it's a way in which we can all communicate internally. It's HIPAA compliant. And as you can see on the screen there, you can send direct messages to specific team members as well. So if our patient care coordinator, Nikki, has a question about someone that they're just checking out or scheduling, I can quick hop on and give her the answer. So I don't have to walk up. Of course, I'd love to get my steps in, but this is so much easier to streamline the communication. And again, this has been one of our favorite features, because my mother, she goes to a lot of the nursing homes or assisted living homes. Mm-hmm. So she can message on her iPhone as well. It's not desktop only. So she's talking on her iPhone. Communication is everything. I can't stress that enough. I know that there's private practice owners on here that have been doing this much longer than I have. But communication in any organization is essential. And there has been less deliverables that have slipped through the cracks because of this team chat feature. I can transparently, wholeheartedly say that with the utmost confidence, for sure.
That's cool. That's cool. So they'll message in team chat saying like, hey, this is what we sold for this patient, and then you'll write up the invoice or something.
Oh, like yeah. That. Or Mrs. Smith has a $2,000 insurance benefit. So I will be back with the patient. Nikki is confirming insurance. I see that.
That's helpful.
Yeah. So then when the patient says, okay, but does insurance cover this? Actually, Mrs. Smith, that's a great question. As courtesy, we checked your insurance coverage. You get $2,000 towards the purchase of hearing instrumentation. So
that's huge.
It makes the process that much smoother. Okay. And it will take, I will be honest with the providers on this call, it takes some time to get into the groove, right? Not a lot of us like change, but once you kind of have the groove of the team chat down, it takes a lot of stress off your chest, that's for sure.
So you just have your Weave app open on your screen that you're doing your testing and your diagnosing and all that, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you and of course patients can't see it, right? But so I'll minimize it.
Kind of turned away from them.
Yeah.
Very cool. So the audiologist can have the app on their screen plus the front office, everybody, which is awesome, right? Okay. Google reviews. Is this? Yeah, this is you. We got your page on here. So 109 total reviews. That's pretty impressive. And 5-star rating, which is ridiculous.
That just went up. No one has it. And I will say, I sort of like the 4.9 because I will tell we're not perfect.
It's more authentic. Yeah.
We're very kind, but that boosted up to a 5.0 a couple of weeks ago. And the
4.8 on Facebook, which is still great. So tell me how you use this when a patient is in your office to the point where they leave a review. How do you guys work that?
Sure. So understanding the landscape today that everything's digital, right? And majority of consumers are going to make their decisions based off, all right, they have a 3.5-star review compared to their competitor who has a 4.9.
Yeah.
They're most likely going to go to the higher review. Now, this, I believe, has made us and additional and fellow private practices more aware of, we have to be on our A game. Number one, never be lazy in language. So when patients are coming in, we want to make sure if they're new, current, they have the best patient experience possible. Why is that? Well, the goal is we want them to write a review. So we're able to send them a review following their appointment via text message. Our patient care coordinator, Nikki, utilizes this system pretty much every single day, especially new patients. Share your experience at Audiology Services. It is rather difficult at times, though, and I will be transparent, to get the reviews. So we have like a seasonal raffle basket that we have in the front office. Okay. And what Nikki does is she has these patients put their information in, name, phone number, email address, and if they write a review, they're submitted to win the basket. So that's, you sort of have to think outside the box, because I've been to different businesses, they asked me to leave a review and I kind of just put it to the wayside. But if I know I could possibly win something and get something for my review, heck yeah, I'm going to leave it. Yeah. So that's how we utilize the reviews. Of course, Google is like so important when we talk about search engine optimization, search engine management, getting to that top page of Google. That's really important. But across all social media outlets as well, Facebook is very big for us. Not so much Yelp, but the reviews for us, very important. Majority of our new patients will say, I read your reviews online.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
And that's how consumers are working today. So
this super important.
This is invaluable.
So I guess you did say that the challenge is getting people to leave the review, right? Right. And Weave can't solve that entirely, but what Weave does is makes it easier for patients to leave the review. It's like 2 clicks versus 17. You know what I mean? Right? They get the text that says, please leave a review, which we should have put that up here. It's super easy. They click on the link for the review and then it pulls up the stars, and then they can put the stars and then they can leave the message down below and then hit submit and then they're done. Yeah. So it's fairly simple. And And I'm sure Nikki probably mentions that, right? When she says, I'm going to send you this review, it's really easy, only a few steps.
Yes.
And even still, not everybody does it. But the
Right.
fact that you've got 109 in the last, like, I think you've only been with us for a year and a half, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's nothing to complain about. And I'm sure it's helping people see you and find you and stuff. So that's great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But definitely have to speak to the simplicity of it for sure, Dexter.
Cool. So marketing, talk to me about this page. This is one of the lesser known features of Weave and maybe even lesser used, but it's pretty cool.
Right. So
Tell me how you use it.
So I graduated in 2017. So in June, I will be 5 years at Audiology Services. And I really now appreciate sending out a warranty expiration letter, talking about upgrades, discussing new technology. So data is important. Data input is really important with new patients. So especially with marketing, this example is warranty expiration. What you're of course able to do is select specific patients who are maybe approaching their out of warranty. Maybe they're a couple of months away from warranty or they are out of warranty. It's a way to, number one, touch base with your patients. It's an opportunity to discuss new technology and discuss new services, perhaps. If the patient's not ready to upgrade to new technology, maybe you have a service plan that you want to enroll them into. So this is really important because if we as an office and a practice are not talking to our current patients or prospective patients, guess who is? It's our competitors or someone who's down the street. So we never want to inundate these patients with marketing information, but we want to still stay top of mind. And the Weave and Sycle integration does make it very simple. A few clicks and you're rocking and rolling. I don't think there's a separate slide with this when it comes to email, but with the Weave package, with the marketing features that Weave does offer, is that email campaign. You can only send 5 a month, which I'm happy that you guys do that, because sending an email every other day, you'd have patients unsubscribing left and right. But again,
that's why I think we do that. Yeah.
Right. The goal here is to stay top of mind, share new, if you have a new hire, welcome to the office, Dexter. He's going to be our new hearing instrument specialist. So staying top of mind with your patients is really important. And how amazing it is that Sycle and Weave have been able to automate this. Whereas I remember when my mother and father started Audiology Services, I mean, you're handwriting, warranty letters. And So what this does is this saves time. And what is your cost per hour? So you have to factor that in there. Whereas, and we've utilized the marketing lists with, the Sycle and integration. It's very simple with a few clicks, and can't say it enough. It just takes less time to communicate with your patients, but the impact is massive. And it is peace of mind that okay, I contacted Mrs. Smith, so I'm doing my part in staying top of mind.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting the ball in her court a little bit. Mico, do you want to say anything more about the Sycle marketing lists? Is that a lesser used feature with Sycle too, or did they use it quite a bit?
It's one of the larger features, of course, with our capability, of course, with when it comes down to patient care, it's huge that we keep in contact with our patients, because ultimately that's where you get the true value of Sycle from, and because ultimately that keeping up with your patients is really the plan of care. Most of our patients don't end up failing with regards to their hearing instruments because A, they haven't been kept up with, or B, they've been fitted and then of course not followed up with. But if we're constantly keeping up, whether at least 7 times a year, our retention span for our patients then of course is within our office and not gone to the next door or whatever other audiology practice that might be around. So of course, marketing lists and having this contact and making sure that there's that nurture retention piece for patients is critically huge, especially with what we do.
Yeah, I think it's worth the effort to focus on retaining your current customers. That's a heck of a lot cheaper than trying to go out and get new ones. Right?
And Dexter and Mico, 80% of your business comes from 20% of your current business.
Absolutely.
80% of new business comes from 20% of current. So who are those ambassadors? Who's talking about your services? You have to nurture that database. And, being a private practice, privately held practice, I get how many, we're juggling a lot here as private practice owners. So how can we automate these systems? How can we stay in touch with our current database that is, again, nurturing and inviting them back into the office and not sounding too salesy? There is no crystal ball when it comes to marketing and hearing healthcare. There's not. So,
but at the same time, our patients just want to feel that love back from us. So that's really what it all comes down to.
As long as you care, leading with the heart, caring about your patients, that's marketing, and the Sycle Weave integration allows us to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, cool. That is cool. Well, one thing I love about audiologists, and I've worked in this industry for 5-6 years now, is how much, and hearing aid specialists, Blaise, not to single you out, but you guys care a lot about your patients, and you're very caring and loving people. And I've seen that day in and day out, but I think it's all about showing them, right? And so this marketing kind of shows them or reminds them that you care and allows you to still, see 10 patients a day and spend the time with them in the office that you need to. So
absolutely.
All right, let's move to the next one here. Oh, we do have one question though. Let's see. Mike King says, with email marketing, can you target those specific customers via email to who you haven't seen in this amount of years? But yeah, right. You can go into Sycle, right?
Yes.
Mico, and you can target which ones you haven't scheduled an appointment with in X amount of time, and then say, hey, let's get back in and see him again. Let's see how he's doing. Right. He bought hearing aids 4 years ago. His warranty's already expired, but let's just see how he's doing. Right.
Absolutely.
You use it that way too, I'm sure. Right.
Thanks for sharing that, Mike. That's really important too, because again, the if this, then that, if they haven't been in, can I send them an email? Thank you for bringing that up, Mike.
Cool. Okay. Appointment reminders. We've already kind of hinted on this. We don't need to spend a lot of time on it, but do you want to just talk about how you use this?
So we do utilize the appointment reminders. We also do like to be redundant, not to waste time, but we like to call the patients ahead as well. Like we'll call the day before. So sending out the appointment reminders via text, but also following up with a phone call, because if there's a no-show, do we have a cancellation list? So it's not to be annoying to our patients, but it's to make sure that we're working with the hearing impaired here, and maybe they missed a text, because I know I have. I kind of look at it and I'm like, whatever. So following up with a phone call as well is what we do. So we do implement a redundant system, but the appointment reminders, especially for our patients who do prefer text and are very busy on the go, this is gold for sure.
Okay. One thing I've heard of people doing is they'll send like a Google map. Do you ever do that for new patients to show them how to get there?
For new patients, I will be honest and transparent. We have not sent a Google map.
Oh, there's an idea for you.
I'm going to write that down, because we are on a one-way street in a very small town.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Directions is cool, because you've never been there. Maybe this is your first hearing test ever. So maybe you send them a link with like a what to expect for your first hearing test, or directions on how to get there. Or you send a link to your website, and on your website, there's a video of you discussing, whatever you want to discuss about hearing care. And so that's some ways to use it as well, as you can kind of engage them on other platforms, or obviously the link to review your company, just kind of going along those lines. You can send links, you can send pictures, you can send emojis, you can send whatever you want on that, which is kind of fun.
And Dexter, that is very important to my fellow hearing care providers. So we host a podcast called the Hearing Matters Podcast, and we have an episode specific to our office, what to expect at your initial hearing aid evaluation, what to expect at your first visit. So we send that episode to every new patient.
Cool.
And when the patients come in and they hear Dr. Delfino's voice and my voice, there's familiarity there. Now, you have a great idea of, if you have a YouTube video kind of introducing yourself, you can send that as well. But what an amazing experience that is then, because patients are waiting 7 to 10 years to actually do something about their hearing loss. It's our job to make it such a good experience. Again, caring, leading with the heart. But I'm happy you brought that up. So we do something similar to that.
Cool.
I think we can all get better at kind of how can we make this a better experience. But that's a golden nugget right there for sure.
Yeah, I think as professionals, you do this day in and day out. So a new hearing test is nothing for you, but for them, there's certainly a level of apprehension, which 7 to 10 years shows that they've been reluctant to do it for a while. And so
absolutely,
just kind of word of wisdom there. Remember that reluctancy and treat them with kindness. All right. So reminders. So here's all these reminders on Sycle. And so you just kind of pull those over to Weave. You type in right here the name of the patient, and then it's pretty easy, right, Blaise? 1-2 clicks, and then you're sending the text.
Very simple, very simple. And it's nice that you can, of course, customize the message to send the reminders to those patients, especially when it comes to hearing aid fitting and clean and check, things of that nature.
Yeah. So what's cool about Sycle is they have these messages already made, right? And so you can, I know a lot of people that just copy that and paste it in, which is super easy and super quick to do. But if you want to get even more personal, send an emoji or a heart or something like that at the end, and it makes it kind of fun. And then in addition, in the Weave's messaging platform, there's saved texts. So if you have something that you text out to every patient, you can save it in there, a custom message, and then you just click on that and then it automatically sends it, which is kind of fun too. All right, let's talk about the ROI calculator. I've been wanting to get to this for a while now. So we had Blaise give us his numbers from his office, and I'm just amazed. When I looked at this, I was like, is that right? I had to check the math again, but let's go through these items real quick, Blaise, and talk about it. Whoops, I didn't realize I couldn't click on it. Okay, so you're looking at Weave monthly cost on average. It's about $399 a month. That's varies depending on, promos and things or what upgrades you want. But let's just start with that base. The value of a new patient, this is kind of industry wide. We've just realized it's about $400. That's kind of what Starkey and people like that are saying. The average close ratio, taking on all that into account. And Blaise told me he has about an 80%, was it, close ratio?
Not to brag or boast or to impress anyone.
I'm going to brag for you.
Our clinic average is 84% help rate.
I'm going to brag for you because I think that's pretty amazing and just shows what kind of clinic you're running. So that number would be higher if we were going to do that. But I told him, let's just leave it at 400 just for the sake of argument. Hours saved each month with Weave. Talk to me about how you came up with 5. So
understanding that it is in my clinical opinion that the front office staff, I mean, they are the glue to everything we do. Like, it is so important. So their time is incredibly valuable. They are the first line of defense, or greeting, if you will, the gatekeeper. And they're the first individual that a new patient talks to. So what are the roles and responsibilities of a patient care coordinator? Well, there's a lot of them. So understanding that there's a lot of them, how can we automate systems? Because again, today's day and age, the goal is to implement systems, automate systems, and as individuals, we manage the systems. So Nikki manages the systems, and we came up with that. So it's about 45 minutes to an hour a week of using the automation of automating the appointment reminders, texting. Guess what? She didn't have to call and remind this specific patient, which probably would have been a 2-minute phone call, 2.5-minute phone call. I love our patients. Everyone loves to talk on the phone. Sure. We appreciate that, but we have to make sure that if systems can be automated, that we are saving time. So we came up with that number from understanding we do make data-driven decisions. So Nikki's not, while she is calling every patient for appointment reminders, if a patient prefers text, which I would say about 40% of our patients do, she's texting them, your clean and check, or your repair came in, et cetera, et cetera. So while it's not, 5 hours does not seem like a lot, but in the office space and in a private practice, it allows Nikki then to cultivate, do some care calls. Mr. Smith wasn't in, because we always want to make sure that it's patient first, but with giving up some time. Where is that time allocation going? It's going into revenue generating opportunities as well.
There you go. There you go. See, and I would say 5 is even kind of low. I've talked to some dental offices who it's more like 40 because they do a lot of.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Things like that, right? So 5 hours is, I believe that for sure. So you don't use text to pay, it looks like. So you added a 0.
We're going to start to. Yeah.
Sometimes that can add revenue where people forget to pay. And so you just text them, hey, here's the link for your payment today for your cleaning or whatever you do.
Right.
Front office staff, hourly 17. So you can do 17 times 5, and that's added into the formula here. Cancellations or no-shows filled each month. You said on average about 5. So how do you recover those 5 cancellations or no-shows through Weave?
So, well, you typically with Weave is, so if we have a cancellation, or not so much cancellation, like we don't really have a wait list, if you will. Yeah. We are booking out like 3 weeks now. So how we've utilized and how we do utilize and have utilized this in the past is taking our wait list, if you will, patient cancels, and then automating a text message. Hey, we have an opening on this date. Are you available?
Yeah, we call that our quick fill list.
Yeah, cool. It's the quick fill. So our patients are pretty, like, we don't have many no-shows, knock on wood for that. It is nice to have for some admin time because time is of the essence, but we don't have many no-shows.
That's good.
So,
okay, cool. Patients saved with missed call text. You said about 10.
Yep.
And you were trying to figure out how many missed calls per day, and then kind of went backwards from there, right? I think we talked about that one.
Yes. Yeah, we discussed that. So average missed calls per day, 5. And we are, again, discussing this earlier, is that we as an office, all of us need to make those data-driven decisions. So if Nikki's on the phone and a call's coming through, it may be, let's just say LHI, and they want to schedule a veteran. Well, Nikki's calling that patient right away. But we are now as we mature as an audiology practice, we are seeing the missed call number go up a little bit, but it's not affecting our top or bottom line or patient retention. But we're trying to create a better experience for patients, current and new. So is it someone that we hire off-site to just field some calls? So that missed call feature is really important, because missed call equals missed opportunity equals lost revenue.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And what's nice too about the missed call feature is that we're able to see, like, I know where our missed calls are. It's between 12 and 1 p.m.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have a simple solution for that. Who can I take lunch earlier, and then I'll field the call.
Yeah, just make a simple adjustment.
We're making those data-driven decisions for sure. And then that new monthly patient save with missed call text, that is completely accurate, because again, we're not missing a lot of calls, but if we are, that has saved so many patients in the past. Even if it's someone who needs to come in for ear impressions or in-ear monitors or earplugs, those are patients who are very tech savvy.
Yeah.
So we're very conservative with our numbers. Again, we are by no means perfect as a private practice, but the Weave Sycle integration has allowed us to really fill in the gaps, make data-driven decisions, and know where we need to pick up the slack.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time on this. I mean, just looking at this, he's gaining a lot of new patients through the Weave software, and I think that's great. But let's say you don't buy it and you're like, well, I'd be lucky if I could gain 1 new patient through, no shows, because I'm just not that busy, or I don't miss that many calls. Maybe I only get 1 or 2. Let's say you only gain 1 new patient a month, right? That's paying for the Weave software right there, right? You're breaking even. And I would bet that you'd free up more time and be able to put forth more effort towards marketing or towards better patient care, and be able to get even more ROI out of the Weave. It's just kind of, I know that $3.99 seems like a lot of money for some of the smaller offices, but I promise you, every time we've done this ROI calculator with current users, the numbers are crazy.
And Dexter, I can account to that being a smaller, we're family owned. So
yeah,
every
dollar counts, right?
Every dollar counts. You know, I wake up every day, you start at zero. So to be transparent, when I was like, wow, $3.99, and then my math brain goes 12 months, but we can't operate without it now.
Yeah.
So it's like, before we're like, well, with Verizon, we're only paying, we're paying half. And it's like, okay, but we're also losing opportunities and we're losing business and we're not able to communicate effectively with our patients. So we are in a position where we can't afford not to have it. Our patients are so accustomed now to those updated systems. And that story I shared earlier about, wow, this is how a real business operates. At that point, I was like, yeah, we're never getting
like, oh, we want to be that. That's what we're hoping to do. So awesome. Well, thanks for sharing all that, Blaise. That was very cool. So here's some common questions that we get from people. Do I keep my phone number? Simple answer, yes. There are rare cases where there's a weird VoIP system that won't let you, but a lot of times we can forward it from that VoIP system and allow you to keep it that way. Does Weave replace our phone system and internet? Just phone system. You keep your old internet, and in some cases, you might have to upgrade the internet. We do need a pretty fast internet speed, and most offices, I'd say 90% have that already. But in some cases, you might need to pay for a little bit better internet, and your office staff will be happy you did for more reasons than just your phones. Can we chat between different locations? We've talked about that already. Yes, absolutely. And that works great. And if you're a multi-office, 10, 20 offices, you can sync them all up together and be chatting, which is very cool. How long is the contract? There is no contract. You're on a month to month, which is nice. Can cancel anytime. What does support look like after signing up? Blaise talked about that a little bit. We had a few issues, I'm not going to lie, when I first started, where our support wait time was really high. And I think it was because we just grew so fast during COVID that we couldn't keep up. But we've hired a lot more people in support. And I'm proud to say that support time is less than 3 minutes on average now, which is pretty cool. And Blaise talked about the onboarding experience. It's pretty slick too. We go through, we train you, there's videos, things like that. Blaise, do you want to add anything to that, to the support and onboarding and stuff?
Like I said, we had our first and only issue or challenge 2 weeks ago, and it got taken care of real quick. Nikki was on the phone with Weave very, very quick. And then Jordan was the representative from Weave who got us onboarded. And your whole team, everyone's just so, for lack of a better word, so cool, very welcoming and very informative, because while this is a lot of technology and it's new, and you might have some apprehension of, well, new technology, am I going to be able to handle it? Weave answers all those questions for you. We did have to upgrade our internet as well. So the support staff, helped us with that. And it was a very, very good experience. I have nothing negative to say about the onboarding.
Awesome. Good. Thanks, Blaise.
Sure.
Okay, so we have a few minutes, I guess, right, Mico, for questions, or maybe I'll turn time back over to you to field those questions. But just want to say thank you to Sycle for this integration and for how much fun it's been to work with you guys. So really appreciate the spotlight.
Thank you, guys. Is there any questions from our attendees currently? Please feel free to write them in the question and answer. We'll spend a few minutes here to answer any of those.
Come on, we got to get at least one. They're all ready to sign up, I think, right? They're on the phone already with our salespeople.
Dexter and Mico, really, you guys covered a lot. So maybe
we covered it all.
Limited questions.
Good.
No, but awesome. But thank you guys. But thank you, Blaise. Thank you, Dexter. We definitely appreciate you guys sharing your experiences. I think, Blaise, you definitely shared your experiences as a practice owner, being able to utilize Weave through what you have on your day to day. Actually, I think we just received a question from Ruben.
Is there an app that works with a smartphone, or is everything on the computer? It's on the computer, but you also have a smartphone app that you can do everything you can do on the computer.
Yeah, it's incredible, especially on snow days.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're working.
I don't get those here in Southern California. So
Blaise was just in Arizona, right, Blaise? Were you texting and messaging your office while you're in Arizona?
Yes, I did that one time, but I was trying to check out too for a little vacay. But yeah, we were able to communicate with our front office staff. I was in Arizona, Mico was here in Pennsylvania, and it's just like a text message. So it is desktop and app or smartphone based, which is awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome.
Well, any other questions, you guys? But I think we've covered it all. If there is any additional questions, feel free, the webinar will be recorded, of course, and we'll be sending out the link. Also, I believe Andrew did share a link where you can, of course, schedule a Weave demo, and they can actually walk you through the actual software itself and how it actually integrates as well. So if you need some personal one-on-one time for that, he shared a link in the chat along with the demo number to call, and it's also here on the final page. If there is any additional questions, feel free to, of course, schedule that. But in closing, just want to thank everybody for coming on board today.
Hold on, Mico. I do have one more question. Sorry,
sure.
I forgot. Didn't mean to interrupt you. I have a question for Blaise. Blaise, is there do you do like a podcast or anything like that like we can learn more about your thoughts on audiology?
Oh yeah, so we host the Hearing Matters podcast. You could download, we have over 60 episodes, and we talk about hearing technology, best practices, and hearing loss. So you can use some of those episodes to share with some of your patients about some of the technology or audiology in and of itself. So definitely check that out. And happy to send out some links. If anyone has any questions for me, you can visit our website at audiologyservicespa.com, and my email information is there. If you have any questions about the Weave Sycle integration, I'm happy to answer that. But Dexter, Mico, and Lauren, you guys have been incredible putting this all together. So thank you for doing this for us as private practice owners. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
You guys are who we listen to, and you guys, of course, that's part of the big reason why we're still here and why we continue to evolve as well at Sycle. And what your guys' feedback is most important to us, and how we evolve what we continue to do on a day-to-day basis. So thank you guys for that as well. And
thank you.
Just in closing, as I did make mention, we believe in work on enhancing the ultimate patient experience, not only for our practitioners that are using Sycle, but just overall. And again, thank you all for your time and attention today. We'll have more of our partner webinar series here moving forward, and I know you guys will receive those emails here shortly. But until next time, thank you again, and hope to see you all soon. Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Blaise.
Everyone.
Thanks, everybody.